Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Saba Show, and today we are doing round 8 of the Dice Footy Championships. Last 2 weeks have been stuffed up, at least audio-wise, because I activated a voice changer for the entire recording session. So we're back to normality this week. These are the results from the week prior, and this is the ladder as it stands currently. But without further ado, let's dive into this week. And my bottle just hit the deck, but we commence things for round 8 with Port Adelaide and the Bulldogs. First v 4th, Port start well, and the Doggies kick 3 goals too. So they trail early on in this match. The Power, can they extend their lead a little bit further? They got a bit of cushioning, but let's see if the Dogs can eliminate that. They do a race indeed. That is not the scoreline, that is the scoreline. 10-point lead for the Dogs at the half, and the Power don't even get ahead or even have a chance to take the lead in that third quarter, given their shit third quarter scoring, and the Bulldogs capitalise on that a fair portion. So they are up pretty convincingly, just under 5 goals, and it looks like the Power are not going to win. Did not kick nearly as much as they needed. I'm a bit rusty in the addition department, but the Bulldogs will win. It's just a matter of how much, and it looks like it will be a solid 20-point win. Next up, we've got Fremantle and North Melbourne taking on one another. It is Fremantle who are in 17th position, languishing down at the bottom of the table currently, and they don't start very well, particularly here. North Melbourne, 3 goals, 5 for them. That's pretty G'd up. At least better than Fremantle. Second quarter is much, much better by the Dockers. Let's see if they can restrict North to minimal scoring, and they do that pretty well. They actually lead at the main change. North have had some good wins this season, but that third quarter has not helped them in getting another win that they probably should get against a bottom place side, but that scoring will really help them out going into the last quarter. They are down by about 13 points. They're going to need to restrict them, and they do that very well. This is a really inaccurate scoring game. A lot of teams have kicked 14 goals, 21 this year. Random fact. Can they win? No, they can't. That is unfortunate for North Melbourne and North Melbourne supporters, but the Dockers get what I believe is their third win of the season. Next up is Richmond and Collingwood, who have performed quite differently this season. Richmond in the bottom 4, and the Pies sitting in the top half of the table. Richmond don't start very accurately. The Pies didn't do much better, but they will lead by a couple of goals at quarter time. The second quarter is exactly the same. Identical to the first quarter for the Tigers, and they're 4 goals, 12 at the main break. And the Pies, who also have kicked inaccurately, will still lead at the main change. And we go into the third quarter. Let's see if the Tigers like to kick a lot of behinds, and they don't improve a lot, but it's a bit better. They doubled their score somewhat. The Pies, they fixed up their goal kicking at halftime, and they currently lead by about 20 points. And Richmond, well, they've given themselves a chance here. How big of a chance that is, I've got no idea. But they're going to need to kick 16 points to win, and they've done it. They've just won by about a goal. Let's just do the math here. Yeah, it is a 1-goal win, 106 to 100. A pleasant surprise this season is Gold Coast sitting in the top 4. Sydney are in 9th, and they take on one another in this round 8 game. The Swans start pretty slowly, and the Suns don't do a hell of a lot better. They lead by a slender 1-goal margin at quarter time, and the second quarter for the Swans is significantly improved, if that makes any sense. The Suns, can they do things? Yeah, they can. At least if that's what you thought when you say 5 goals, 1. I don't even know what I was talking about there, but the Swans have doubled their score in 1 quarter, and the Suns dropped off significantly. 1 goal, 1. The absolute minimum. And the Swans, can they finish off the Suns? Well, they've cracked the ton in the last quarter, and I think that's game over. That is game over. They need 46 points to tie it, and they're not even going to get remotely close to that. So the Suns end up losing by about 5 goals. Exactly. Next up, we've got GWS and Geelong, which is uncharacteristically in the Dice Footy world a bottom 8 clash. Nearly bottom 4 clash, but the Giants, who have had a pretty slow start to the year, start pretty damn well. They hold Geelong to 1 goal and lead by about 20 at quarter time. A lot of teams leading by 20 at various points of their games, and the Giants continue the trend of kicking 4 goals with a couple more in that quarter. The Cats have been well held, only the 22 points in the first half. The third quarter for the Giants, they got a maximum. They got the absolute maximum, and you would almost back them in here. I mean, they'd have to absolutely, colossally choke this game in order to lose it. But I don't think that's going to happen. They are up by a very commanding 7 goals. And even the minimum, I mean, that's practically toying with Geelong. They played an arse last quarter, and they are still going to get all 4 points. So finishing off the math, the Giants win by 4 goals. Two sides that are pretty close together in the standings are the Bombers and the Hawks. Let's have a look. The Bombers start well, nearly kicked the ton, missed out on 1 goal. I say the ton, it is not the ton, but in Dice Footy terms, it might as well be. The Hawks have trailed, or are trailing at quarter time, due to some pretty shit offense and defense. The Bombers, well, were very inaccurate in that second quarter, and the Hawks repeat exactly what the Bombers did in the first quarter, and they only trailed by a couple of points. This is looking to be a cracker. Third quarter, Bombers 5 goals 5, nearly replicate their first quarter efforts, and the Hawks kick 3 goals 3, so they do trail by a couple of goals at 3/4 time. They need to restrict Essendon first up. I couldn't even say my words there. And they will end up on 15 goals 21. That is insanely inaccurate. And I do believe it's game over. It's out of reach. 6 goals 6 wouldn't have made the total that they needed to get the win. And they've come out and kicked the absolute minimum. So they lose pretty convincingly. We move on to the Sunday fixtures now. It is Brisbane taking on West Coast at the Gabba, the imaginary Gabba. And Brisbane start off with 2 goals 3. A silent 2 goals 3. Then the Eagles respond with 5 goals 4 of their own. That's a pretty good start away from home. Second quarter for Brisbane, they're going to need something big, and they do not get it. They've had a pretty mid-season so far in the first 7 rounds, and they continue that so far. Second quarter by the Eagles isn't too flashy. They are winning at halftime due to their first quarter performance. The Lions get a little bit of a wriggle on in that third quarter and have the lead at this point, and that goes away almost immediately. 5 goals 6 for the Eagles in that third quarter. The Lions are going to need something special. They need to outscore their opponent by 18, and at the moment, as it stands, they will need to hold the Eagles to 16 points. Here we go. This is an iconic roll. They're going to need, I think, 17 points. Oh my goodness. They've done it again. Brisbane have been absolutely, well, I don't know what the word is. They'd be absolutely gutted. They've thrown this one away. Alright, next up is Melbourne and St Kilda. Melbourne have been a very good side all year long, and they start this one off in the exact same fashion. The Saints, can they do something? Can they do some damage? At the moment, it does not look like it. The D's up by 4 goals at quarter time. Second quarter is a quarter which could see St Kilda let back into the game. Let's have a look. And indeed, the Saints kick 6 goals in the second quarter and hold a 9-point advantage at the main break. Could we see an upset? The D's, third quarter is pretty dodgy. I mean, they need the Saints to have a bad one, because otherwise they could be staring down the barrel of a loss. Saints don't have the biggest of quarters, so they are they're leading the D's by 15, and the D's, well, they've given themselves a good opportunity here. The Saints need to kick at least 21 points. Can we have another cliffhanger? No, not at all. And the Saints kick pretty much the maximum and will pick up the points against second place Melbourne. Final game of the round, and it is Carlton taking on the Crows. Here we go. Carlton start 3-3. They've had a pretty mid-season as well. Very similar to the Lions. Will they repeat the dose in choking a game like the Lions did against the Eagles earlier in the round? The Crows have started off better than the Blues, but the Blues have responded at quarter time. Voss has given them a spray, and the Crows, they're in need of a win very, very badly. Sitting on the bottom of the table, 1-6. So they're going to need a big performance in the second half to get up. And the Blues, it looks like they're in pole position to get the job done. And the Crows, no, I can't see it happening from here now, boys. It's over. It is over for the Crows. Another loss. The Blues don't have the best of last quarters, 1-5. Pretty whack, if I'm going to be brutally honest. And the Crows, 3-6. It was better than the Blues in that last quarter, but ultimately they're going to end up empty-handed. And here we have the results for round 8, as well as how the ladder stands after all the matches have been completed. You can see a lot of teams rued their missed opportunities. A lot of teams kicked in accurately, kicked more behinds than goals, and some of them were, they paid the price, and some teams actually benefited from kicking more behinds. That's actually what got them over the line. You can see the Crows, they're just on an island at the bottom of the table by themselves. At the top, it's the same scenario, except the Bulldogs have gone 2 wins clear of second place. Melbourne dropped points in that game against St Kilda. It is pretty tight. A lot of teams on 5 wins, 4 wins, 3 wins. As I said in previous weeks, percentage really matters. The Blues are nearly going into the top 8. I can't see any other major movers. West Coast are also a very big mover. They went from 7th to 4th, but obviously as the season goes on, it's going to be harder to gain a lot of places with a win. But you are still seeing teams jump up 3 places, drop down 3 places. GWS went up a couple. North Melbourne slipped a couple. St Kilda went up a few. That win against the D's was a game changer in how the ladder looks now. But regardless, that's going to be everything from me. I hope you did enjoy this one. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe as usual to stay notified for stuff like this. These episodes are weekly, 4 o'clock every Thursday. I can't even say Thursday properly. Jesus Christ. Anyway, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.